Hello and welcome to Digital Skills for Everyday Tasks, Google Drive and Sheets. We really appreciate the time that you're taking to dedicate to this workshop. This is one of 5 workshops in the Grow with Google Black Women Lead initiative. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority is one of 6 Black women-led organizations who've partnered with Google to provide free resources and workshop content to help participants such as yourself grow both professionally and personally. I'm Jocelyn Williams, a member of the suburban Houston Fort Bend alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, and I will be your presenter this evening. By day, I work as an IT trainer for Harris County, instructing law enforcement personnel on how to use criminal justice information systems to search for criminal data, search for warrant data, and file charges. Before we go further, I'd like to introduce the president of our chapter, is Jackie Smith.
Thank you, Ms. Williams, and thank you to the participants. Thank you, Ms. Ellis, for all y'all's hard work. I am excited for the chapter to participate in Grow with Google. This is a national initiative for Delta Sigma Theta across 7 regions, and the goal is to give this information to over 100,000 Black women that they can increase their skills to help them in their economic development and in their job-seeking skills. So we're excited to take part in this first of 5 Grow with Google initiatives. So let's get ready, Ms. Williams, and teach us what you want us to know.
I will do that. Thank you, President Smith. Before we go much further, we'd like to do a quick poll and find out from you your comfort level with Google and to gather some demographic information. And this poll will consist of 4 multiple choice questions. Please know that your personal information will not be shared, just your responses to the questions. The first one will help us plan for future workshops, and the other questions will help us satisfy our agreement with Google. So if you would, please respond to the poll.
We'll close the poll in 10 seconds.
10 seconds, thank you. Our poll is complete, and thank you for participating. We are very excited about the Grow with Google initiative because this initiative will really help people grow their skills, careers, and businesses by offering free digital skills training and tools. Yes, I said free. There is no charge for this training. And in today's webinar, we will look at how Google applications can help you manage your professional and everyday lives remotely. First, we will talk about accessing the Google Drive, and this drive will help you find all of the Google documents that you create and save. And secondly, we will focus on the creation of Google Sheets that will allow you to list and track tasks that are associated with planning an event such as a virtual meeting, a summit, or another special event. As we go through this webinar, feel free to follow along on your own devices. Don't you love technology? I appear to be having technical difficulties.
Ms. Williams, I have started the screen share and I'll advance to your next slide for you.
All right, thank you. We're going to, as many of you know, during this pandemic, we have been living very much in a virtual world. And I don't know about you, but I have been Zooming several times every day. And during this webinar, just to make sure that we start off on a good foot, we want to be mindful of background noise. So if you would be sure to mute your microphones, and there will be an opportunity for you to put questions in the Q&A or in the chat. And I'll be throughout the webinar soliciting responses from you throughout. So be sure to mute your microphone. And now I'd like to talk about the workshop agenda. Exactly what are we going to be covering during this session? We're going to review, briefly talk about signing into your Google account and accessing Google Drive. Google Drive is a free cloud-based digital drive where you can store projects, files, and plans. And then we'll look at how to access Google Sheets, which is an application within Google. This workshop will actually focus on 2 of the 4 digital skills for everyday tasks, creating a folder with Google Drive and creating a to-do list with Google Sheets. We will also look at resources that you can go further in expanding your knowledge about Google. We'll summarize and we'll do an evaluation. Now, I'd like to get an idea from all of you. What do you already know about Google? What are some Google applications that you've worked with or that you have heard about? If you would put your responses in the chat. What do you already know about Google? What Google applications do you use? Which ones do you like? Google Drive. And we're going to really focus on that. Google Forms, Duo, Drive, Maps, Spreadsheets, Sheets, Slides, Forms, Duo, Maps. So a lot of these I'm sure are familiar to you. So we do have some Google users here. Very good. All of these can be found in Google. So today we're going to take a deeper dive. Many of you may be at a point where you are planning an event right now, or you're going to be hosting a virtual event, and you may be doing that through Google Meet, or you may be planning a family reunion or another special event for later in the year. And today we're going to look at the Google tools in the context of planning an event But you can apply these digital skills to many situations in your workplace, in your personal life, at church. For example, you could use a sheet to create a budget or to put together a business plan. To get started, we need to be able to access these applications. And to access these applications, you need to have a Google account. Now, a Google account is free of charge. You can sign up. It's easy to sign up. You'll need an email address or a phone number to sign up with. And you would go to www.google.com to sign up for that Google account. To access the Google applications, and the animation on this screen is showing you how you would go about signing into your Google account. Once you've created it, you would sign in using your phone number or email address, whichever you use to create your Google account. And then once there, you would access the Google Apps by selecting the Google Apps icon. I call it a waffle symbol. You would click that waffle symbol and it will launch the Google Apps menu that shows you all of the applications that you have available to you within Google. Now, there is more at the end of the list. You would click more to expand that icon list, and it will show you all of the Google apps you have available to you. To access Google Drive, you would click the multicolored icon or triangle within the Google launcher. Once you launch this menu, you would click this icon to access your Google Drive. Using this icon will show you where all of your projects are stored. So anything that you create within Google will be stored in your Google Drive. Now here, this illustration shows you a web of Google applications, such as Sheets. Some of you in the chat mentioned Sheets that you use, Docs, Slides, Photos, Chrome, which is a fast web-based browser, and Gmail. Now, my employer is very much Microsoft tool and application based, and that's not going to change anytime soon. And as a Microsoft user, moving to Google for personal use and family use, I was interested in knowing what the equivalent was when, okay, if I use Microsoft Excel, what would be the equivalent in Google? Well, that would be Sheets. I use Word. The Google equivalent is Docs. PowerPoint, Slides. So if you're a Microsoft user, many of the functions that you use in Microsoft, you can do in Google. Files, one of the good things about Google is that when you create files and folders on Google, they are stored in a Google Cloud, which is a safe place on the internet for you to store your information. Google is not device or computer specific or location specific. You can easily access your Google files and folders from any computer, smartphone, tablet, or anything that has internet access. Files on Google won't get lost, even if your computer crashes. Unfortunately, computers do crash. Regardless of the storage space on that computer, the age of the computer, or the applications that have been used on the computer. And computer crashes happen unexpectedly. But with Google, you don't have to worry about that. Any of the files that you've created are stored in your Google Drive. And so if your computer crashes, you do not have to worry about that. Everything is stored and automatically saved. That is another great feature with Google. Anything that you create, any documents, any folders are automatically saved to your Google Drive. I don't know about you, But sometimes I've been in a rush creating a document. I've been in such a rush that I sign off and I forget to save what I've been working on. And then sometimes I've lost that information. And I know for my students, the systems that we use don't have an automatic save feature. So I'm constantly having to remind them, you need to save your data. You need to save your data because it's important that it's accurate, it's timely, and it's complete. A lot of detail is required with criminal justice information. And when they're putting together their summaries, they need to make sure that everything is in place, and they have to lose their information, maybe accidentally hit a key, do something incorrectly, have the system idle for a period of time and it logs them out and they haven't saved their information. Guess what? They have to automatically enter everything from the very beginning. So, but that's something you don't have to worry about with Google. All of the information is automatically saved for you. And again, the information is not device specific. So you don't have to worry about, oh, my files are only on my tablet and I don't have my tablet with me to do the work. Even as long as you have a computer, you're on a device that has internet access, you can access your Google account and the applications within Google. If you're at a public library, university library, you can access your Google account. If you're at FedEx Copy, you can use their computer to access your Google account. If you're at a hotel business center, you can do the same thing. So again, one of the great features about Google is that it is internet-based, cloud-based, and you're not device specific or location specific to access your information. Now, once you sign into Google, you need to access your Google Drive. We're going to talk about that. That's very important because your Google Drive is where all of your files and folders are housed. That's where they live. Everyone has that drawer or that space maybe in their home that they toss things, or anything goes, and it can be difficult to find things. I know that I have spaces like that. Have you ever tried to find a file on your computer? You have so many files, so many documents, and you're trying to find something on your computer and it's difficult to find. Just like that drawer or that area in the home that's a free-for-all. To help eliminate time trying to find that file and maybe even going to the point of recreating a file, think about the word folders. Folders. If you had a folder on your computer that would allow you to place invoices, budgets, programs, specific pictures, you could arrange your documents within these folders and easily find what you need when you go to your account. Now, you might think, well, I'm just starting with Google. I can find everything I need. I don't have a lot of files. And that's true in the beginning, but think about 3 months from now when you go from a few files to maybe hundreds of files. And then you may be thinking, well, I wish I had that folder that would allow me to organize all that I have and easily find that information. So let's look at accessing the Google Drive and creating those folders that will help you with your organization and information retrieval. At the top right of the Google screen, of course, you need to sign into your Google account, launch that app. Looks like a waffle icon. That will launch the applications menu that you see here in the illustration. You would click Drive, the multicolored icon, select that, and it will bring up your Google Drive. Now, if you're new to Google, you won't see any files here, but over time, as you create files and folders, it will be populated in the middle of this My Drive screen. And this is, again, this is the location where all your documents will be stored. From here, you'll be able to share documents with other Google users. You will easily be able to find any documents that you've recently worked on, and you can check your storage availability. So here again, this is where you will see a list of all your files and folders. Over here, if you want to share with others, you would click share with or see what has been shared with you. You would click share with me, and it will show you the list of files and folders that others have shared with you. If you want to see the last document that you worked on or recently worked on, you would click recent. And down here at the bottom, it will show you the amount of storage space you have. Now, every Google user is given 15 gigabytes of space free of charge, and that should be all that you need. But if you find over time that you need more than 15 gigabytes of space, you can purchase additional space from Google. But 15 will give you an adequate amount of space. And you can always come here to see how much storage space you have remaining, how much you've used, and how much you have remaining. Now, to create a folder, again, we've signed into our Google account. We've accessed our Google Drive by clicking the launcher and clicking Google Drive. In Google Drive, we would hit the new icon and notice that it has a plus sign. When you click that, a menu will drop down with options. To create a new folder, you would click folder, and you want to click the folder with the plus sign, not the folder that says, not the option that says folder upload. Google is very consistent with its messages. When you see a plus sign, think I'm adding something. When I see a plus sign, I will be adding something. Nothing bad is going to happen if you click folder upload. If you were to select folder upload, what you will see is the directory or the folders of the device that you're using to access Google. So if, for example, if I'm at a public library using one of their computers and I select folder upload, I'm going to see the folder structure on that specific device. Remember, anytime you work in Google, your files and your folders are automatically saved to Google. So you're never going to be uploading any Google documents or folders. And when you're uploading something that is existing. So you're going to click the new plus icon, and what you will see displayed is a new folder window. And in that new folder window will be a untitled folder text. And this, you would type over that text with the name of your choice. You want to name your folder, and this name will allow you to find your folder at other points in time. And here we've selected the name 2021 Family Memories. So after you type in the name for your folder, click the Create button, and then that folder will appear in your My Drive named 2021 Family Memories. So you have created a folder and you've named it. Now, once you have created your folders, again, anything that you create will live in your drive on Google. You can share this document with anyone, anywhere. So for example, if you were working on a program for your family reunion and you want to do some work on it during your lunch hour, you can log into your Google account and go into your Google Drive to access that folder and do your work. And then if you have family members that you want them to share information with you, for example, I'm putting together a program for my family reunion, and my family members are going to be sharing photos with me, newspaper articles, maps, marriage certificates, and other documents, and they can share those with me and send those to my Google folder, and I can share documents with them. So Google Drive, another great thing, it follows you wherever you are from any internet connection or internet or mobile device, I should say. So here, if I want to share my folder, you would select the folder in your My Drive area. When you select your folder, it will turn a light blue in color. Then you will move up to the top here, top right of the screen in My Drive, and click the person icon with a plus sign, the little person. And click that. And then you will see this screen display for you. Where the star is will be your contact information, your name, and your Google email address. Then at the top here, you can share with one person or more than one person. You will need to have their email addresses. It works best with Gmail accounts. It will work with other email addresses, work email addresses, Hotmail, Yahoo, MSN, SBC Global, but it does work best with Gmail. So you will need the email addresses for the people or persons that you want to share your folder with. Down here at the bottom, I'm not exactly sure what this section is for. We're going to ignore that section. You don't need to use this section to share your folders with other people. So once you've entered the email addresses of the people that you want to share your folder with, do you have to have anything different with non-Gmail accounts? No, you don't. To share, no, you do not. That's a good question. You do not. So again, you can enter non-Gmail addresses to share with other people. Now, I'm working on a committee, and a committee member shared a folder with me. He entered, I do have an AOL account. He entered my AOL address in the share area. And I did receive the notification. Now I do have a Gmail account, and I received a Google notification. I also received an email at my AOL address in showing that he had sent me, he had shared a folder with me, and it included a message as to what it was, and of course, who it was from. And there was a link that I could click to access that folder. So even though he sent it to my AOL, I did. And I also, as I said, received a Gmail notification because I also have a Gmail account. So you can share information with non-Gmail users, but it does work best with Gmail. That's a great question. Great question. Because there are some people that don't have Gmail yet. Now you can share a folder or file with multiple people. So you can add as many email addresses as you want. And in this example, it has been shared with 6 people, 6 different people. Now, when you see this screen, the notify people is automatically selected. If you deselect this, if there is someone on here that does not have a Gmail account, the system will show you, or Google will show you a message that says, there's no Gmail account for this person, you must select notify people. So we'll talk about adding files to specific folders. We will answer that. Also, it helps if you add a message to let the recipients know, I'm sharing this folder with you, this is what it is, and this maybe is what I need you to update this or provide this information for me. And so they have an idea of why they're getting the message and what they need to do. You will also see the name of the file or the folder that you're sharing, so you can make sure that you are sharing the folder that you intend to share. So that's what you'll see here. Once you've completed all of this information, then you'll click send, hit send, and that will send the notification, the email or Google notifications to your recipients. So it's a really great way to share information. And then once you have shared, you will see, you will automatically be taken to your Google Drive that will show you the list of all the files and folders that you have. And so it's very easy to share a folder with other people and also see what others have shared with you. Again, the Google Drive will show you all the files and folders that live live in the cloud that are associated with you. You can see what you have shared, what others have shared with you, and also anything that you've recently worked on, and the amount of storage space that you have in Google. Now, if you want to let's say you may want to upload a document that isn't when you're uploading an existing document. You may want to upload a folder or a file that exists outside of Google, and you can certainly do that. You would again click the new icon, and from the options you would select upload file or upload folder. Of course, you would need to be on the device where that file or that folder lives to do the uploading. And then from there, you could upload it to your drive. It will be placed in your drive, and from there, you could place it in the folders that you want or share those files or folders with other people. So you can upload. I know that question has come up. I have PDFs or I have Word docs or Excel spreadsheets that I want to upload to my Google Drive, and you can certainly do that by using the upload file or folder feature. Do we have any other questions related to Google Drive? Let me see if I can see the chat. Now, adding files into specific folders, what you would do is click on that, select that folder, and then move the file or the folder, move the file into that folder that you have, that you've set up. But folders are definitely the way to go in terms of organizing your information, so you're not spending an enormous amount of time trying to find something. And you can also, if you decide at a later point after you create a folder or file that you want to rename it, you can certainly do that. You can rename your folder. You can rename your files at any point in time. Okay. I just want to check if I want to use Google, do I have to be on a specific device to do so? Is Google device specific? Yes or no? Do I have to be on a certain computer, a laptop, a tablet? No, that's correct. You can be any device that has internet accessibility, you can use to access your Google account. Is there a charge to set up a Google account, a Gmail account? No, there is not. There is not. That is correct. If I want to, in Google, if I see a plus sign, what do I need to remember when I see a plus sign within Google? You're adding something. That's correct. You are adding something. Remember that. That's very good. Very good. If I want to share a file or folder with another person, what do I need in order to do that? What is I need an email address for that person. I need their email address. That is absolutely correct. Does it have to be a Gmail account? If I have someone I want to share with and they don't have a Gmail account, can I share with them? Yes, I can. I can certainly do that. I can certainly do that. And again, the great thing about Google, you can access your files or folders from any internet accessible device, anytime, anywhere. So you're not limited by location or by device. So, and all applications cannot say that. So no worries. As with, I was at an expo working with another lady, and she said, oh, I need to update my financial sheets and send them to my manager before noon today. She didn't have to stress. She used her smartphone, her iPhone, logged into her Google account, went into her Google Drive to access her financial sheets, made her updates, and shared them with her manager well before the noon deadline she had set for herself. She didn't have to worry about, oh, I don't have my tablet. That's where the sheet files are. What am I going to do? That was not an issue. All right, now let's look at creating to-do lists with Google Sheets. And for those who are Microsoft users, it's very similar to Excel, Microsoft Excel. And of course, in order to access any of the Google applications, you must be signed into your Google account. When you create in Google, you can certainly start with a blank project, a new blank project, but the Google Drive offers a library of time-saving templates. So you'll have basic information and formatting and won't have to start from scratch every time you want to create a sheet or a project of some kind. So let's look at the steps for creating a new Google Sheet from a template. So again, we've accessed our Google account. We're in our Google Drive. We're going to click New, looking for that plus sign. Step 2, we're going to select Google Sheets from that new options, Google Sheets. And from there, we want to use a template. We're going to select from a template. And again, when you go here, you'll see there are numerous templates that you can use to work with within Sheets. And for this session, we're going to look at a to-do list, because many times we find ourselves creating that type of list. So you'll see here, there's a large library to choose from. So once you have gone new, Google Sheets from a template, you'll select to-do list from the template library. And then you have the opportunity to rename your file, because that name is going to allow you to find it later on. It's a way for you to organize. So again, step one, you're going to click new from the plus, the new plus icon. That will show you the menu. Select Google Sheets, and you have two options, blank spreadsheet, from a template. And we're going to look at from a template. When you select that, you'll see the template library for Sheets. From there, you make your selection. We're selecting to-do list, so just click on to-do list to select that specific template. And then here where it's circled, to-do list, you would type in the name for your sheet. And we've selected Crimson Nights as the name for our sheet file. And that's the name. Now, if you notice with the sheets, it consists of cells very similar to Excel. So here, there are 3 tasks listed. The sheet consists of rectangles called cells. Sounds really familiar to Excel. The cells are organized by rows and columns. Each cell has a name based on its column and its row. So here we have A1, meaning it's column A, row 1. And you can navigate in the sheet by clicking in different cells, or you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to move through the grids of the sheet. Now here, you'll see that there is a check mark. The first column is a check mark that will indicate, you can indicate if the task is complete. The second column, you can put in dates to show what the deadline is for a specific task. And also there's the third column shows you the task that is associated with the date. Now here we have 3 tasks. When you check off a task, it will be crossed off as completed. So you can use sheets for anything that you need to organize, not just for a to-do list. Schedules, appointments, shopping lists, and you can find other templates within Sheets that can help you with that. Now, once you've named your sheet, again, anything that you do is automatically saved. When you go to your Google Drive, you will see that file, that sheet listed in your Google Drive. Now, let's say that you're on a team and you want to collaborate with several people. So you might want to add an additional column to your sheet to maybe show, okay, this is the chairperson or the owner or the person who's going to be responsible for completing the task. So you would simply select, in this example, we select column C and then insert one right, meaning we want to insert a column to the right of C. And that will become our owner column. So the person who will be responsible for that task. So you can add columns, you can add rows to your sheet. So again, you would click the column. Now, if we wanted to add a column to the left, we would select insert one left, but we want to insert this column to the right to show ownership for each task. You can add dates, you can add tasks at any point in time in your sheet. And when you're collaborating, when this is shared with all of your team members or committee members, other people can add their updates or their changes to the sheet. You can change, so you can populate the sheet. It doesn't have to be one owner. You can share with other people. Now let's look at formatting your sheet. You can change the color. Green is the default color, but you can change the color by clicking in a cell and then selecting this fill icon, and it will show you the drop down of colors available to you. You can select a color. We selected cornflower blue here and change the color of the top of the sheet. So you can change the color. You can change the font size to make it maybe more easy to read. You can change the style. You can change the color. You can work with that. If you want to do multiple, you can select, hit your control key and then drag, select fill or the font or style and make changes to more than one cell. You don't have to do one at a time. So you can click, drag, select, and select refill, select the color from the menu, and that will change the cells that you have highlighted to fill. So you can control how your sheet is formatted. And again, if you want to do multiple columns or rows, use that control key on your keyboard to click, select, drag, fill icon, select, and it will color the cell area that you've indicated. You can also do the same when it comes to changing the font, style, size, and color as well. So you can make things bold. You might want to color in certain rows for emphasis. Can you make the sheet read only for those you're sharing it with so that you can only update it? That you can do if you want to put some controls on that. And I can understand in some instances you might want people to be able to review it, but you want to retain edit responsibilities, and you can do that in your settings where you're sharing it, but they can't make any updates to it. So you can do that. And again, you can always check your changes by going to your Google Drive and seeing where locate your file and review your changes. The files will always have a date time stamp, so you can see, okay, on this date, this approximately this time, this is when I made this change. It was a week ago or a month ago or what have you. And it'll also show you who owns or who created the original file. So you'll see that as well. So you can always go to your Google Drive to see the complete list of folders and files that you have. And again, within your sheet, if you find you need to, with tasks, many times you might want to initially list all of the tasks you think need to be done and who needs to do them, whether it's you or someone else. That might be the first thing you do. And you can always add tasks, remove tasks, change dates, change owners. So you have complete control over that. Make it how you want to make it. So recap the to-do list. Do I need to be in my Google account? Do I need to be signed into my Google account to access the sheet that I have created? Yes, yes. You need to be signed into your Google account. In order to create a to-do list or a budget or some other type of sheet, do I need to use a template or can I just use a blank sheet? You have options. You do have options. You can use a blank sheet or you can use a template that will have some formatting and some elements in it. So you're not having to start from scratch. So you have the option there. Is it once you create your sheet, can you modify it? Can you add to it or remove things? Or do you have to keep it the same? Yes, you can make changes to it. You can change the task, you can change the dates, the owners, you can change the look of your sheets, you can change the colors. If you're planning a high school reunion event, you might want to have the colors reflect the colors of your school. So you can certainly do that. And you can change the formatting. You can change the formatting. If you want to share this with others, you can do that. If you want to make it so that you can share it and the others that you share with can only view it, they can't make changes, you can do that as well. You can do that. Now, if I want to find a Google Sheet that I have created, I've signed into my Google account. Where am I going to go in Google to find the sheet that I'm looking for? Where would I go? Would I check my Gmail? Where would I go to find, okay, it's going to live in a folder, but where am I going to find that folder? In the drive, in your Google Drive. That is the place that houses all your files and all of your folders. Very, just keep that in mind. Anytime you see a plus sign, what does that indicate? When you see that plus sign, that you're adding something, If I have a PDF or an Excel spreadsheet that I want to upload to my or add to my Google Drive, can I do that? Or yes, you can do that. So you would be uploading a file or a folder. Now, going back to creating a folder. We sign into our Google account. Yes, you must be on that device. That is correct, Sherry. If you are uploading, you want to upload a folder or file, that is outside of Google. You have to be on the device where those files or those folders are housed. That is very important. You need to be able to access that, because when you select upload folder or upload file, you're going to see the directory for the device that you are using to access Google, and you're going to be required to select the folder or file from that directory. So that is key. That is very key. So to keep in mind, but as long as you have the device where or the computer where those files or folders are living or housed, you can upload them to your Google Drive. If to help with organization of the hundreds of files and folders that you are going to be creating in Google, what is a good way to help with organization and being able to find those files when you get ready to work with them or need them? When you want folders, think folders when it comes to organizing. Because you can, and again, you can rename that folder. You might start out with one name and think, well, okay, I think there's a better way for me to organize and help me remember where certain things are. You can always rename that folder or that file, but do use folders to help with your organization. Because again, in the beginning, you might not have very many files, very many documents, but over time, the more you're working, the more you create, and you want to be able to get to the document you need as soon as possible. You don't want to have to spend a lot of time trying to find something. I can't tell you, before setting up a folder system, I'm trying to find a file maybe that I created a day ago, but I have so many files. I'm like, okay, I can't even remember what I named that file or that folder. So it really helps with the organization and helps with time management. Do you have any questions about Google creating a folder? And again, okay, when it sharing your folders and files is very easy to do. You do need an email address. You can share with those who do not have a Gmail account, even though that works best. They will, if they don't have a Gmail account, the system is going to tell you you need to select notify if they don't have a Gmail account. That option is automatically selected and you would have to deselect it, but they will receive a notification. They will receive an email, like I did to my AOL account, that a file has been shared with you by this individual. This is the name of the file. Here's a link to access it. So, and it's a good way to share information with committee members or friends, family, or work colleagues. Google makes it very easy. And again, you're not limited by device or by location to be able to create, access, or share Google information. Now let's look at some of the resources that are available. Google has offers some in-depth training on Google Sheets and other tools and Google Drive, and it's free. There's no charge, and you will find this in the Google Workspace. It's called Google Workspace Training, formerly called G Suite. Anyone can complete the Google Workspace training. Again, there's no cost for it, and you would do this training on an online digital platform called Applied Digital Skills. that there's some lessons in there that are labeled as workspace certification, but you're not required to get certification. But the lessons will help you become really familiar with all the applications in the Google Workspace. And again, this training is free to anyone who wants to complete it. And the link has been put in the chat for you. There's also a Google Learning Center. And this Learning Center will provide a lot of answers about Google Workspace. It has a getting started guide, checklists, lessons that you can learn by product, by job, information about switching to Workspace from Microsoft. There's video training, access to customer support, and you can access the Learning Center, which again is free, at the link that's been put in the chat for you. There's also what is called Google Primer, and this provides lessons on business and marketing. If you want to sharpen your skills in that area, you can download, there's a free app that you can download to your phone. You can go to Google Play for your Android or the Apple App Store for your Apple device. And here in this Google Primer, you will find a series of short lessons. They're like 5 minutes each that will really hone in on business and marketing skills. And again, this is another resource that is free of charge. Another resource that you might want to look into is online training and tools at Grow with Google. And you can access a lot of different training options in the Grow with Google location, grow.google.com. And you can, again, you can access this from work or from anywhere. And you'll find resources that are related to small businesses, startups, job seekers and students, veterans and military members, educators, developers. So there are several resources that are available to you, all at no cost, available 24/7. So you're not limited by time or cost or location. So and of course, the more you work with the Google apps, as with anything, the more comfortable you will become with using those tools, working with those tools. But these resources are available to help you expand your knowledge and really get a good understanding of what's available to you and how you can really maximize your use of the Google applications. Now, there's also a list of, here is a list of all the resources that are available. And we've already put many of those in the chat for you, such as the primer and the library, applied digital skills, remote work. There's just a lot out there, again, where you can get in-depth information free of charge, And again, if you are a Microsoft user, there's something to address, moving from Microsoft to Google Workspace, which is very valuable when you're used to working with a certain type of tool and you're making that transition. That's really good to have that to review and get a good understanding of how can I use what I've applied with this and move to this. All of the Google applications are free of charge. There's no charge for using Google. It's free to set up an account. with Google. And again, you get free 15 gigabytes of storage space to use. You can always purchase additional space if you find that you will need that. Do we have any questions? Let me look in the chat that I haven't answered. Okay. Now we want to do an evaluation of this session, an assessment, and we will put a link in the chat.
Yes. There'll be an email that will be automatically sent to all attendees
Okay.
immediately following the presentation. It'll be in your email following the next day.
Okay, very, very good. I do encourage everyone to continue to develop your skills using Google Drive and Sheets. And as our second vice president, Lena Ellis, mentioned, you will get an email that has a link to an evaluation that we'd like for you to complete. I want to thank everyone for attending this session, and I hope that you have benefited from it. And again, I encourage you to go further in your building your knowledge of Google. Next week, we will be doing a session on Google Docs and slides. I want to thank our president, Jackie Smith, as well as second vice president, Lena Ellis, and all of the members of the Suburban Houston Fort Bend Alumni Chapter for their invaluable assistance and support of this session. And I want to thank all of you for attending. Enjoy the rest of your evening.